All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Monica Buckley, and I am the president of the board and a member here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. Since 1967, we've been a warm and welcoming liberal community right here in Pottstown. Our founders poured their hearts, resources, and talents into creating this special place, and together we carry on their inspiring legacy. In their spirit, we continue their mission of nurturing spiritual journeys, embracing diversity, celebrating community, and turning values into action. Today's service is going to be a little bit different than our usual. You can see we're in a circle and not in our normal rows. We're celebrating a very special holiday, which occurs this time of the year, called Samhain. It's one of the high holidays in many pagan traditions. Throughout history, different cultures and spiritual paths have set aside time to honor their families, ancestors, and their homes. Since this is our spiritual home today, we'll be blessing and honoring everyone here, our friends, our family, those with us now, and those who have gone on before. We'll also be blessing our fellowship and the ground beneath our feet. So my hope is that no matter your age, you'll leave here today feeling grounded, inspired, and like you truly belong here. So before we move on to announcements, I'd like to take some time to acknowledge Rob, who's doing our technology. Thank you very much. Kate Price will be doing the piano. I think the choir is going to sing today too, so that's really exciting. And also Diane and Awenyyd will be leading us in our circle today. So are there any announcements? I'll just talk about it.
Good morning, I'm Sam. A member of the board and also the facilities and grounds. So I have a few things. Primarily as on the board. On the back of our order of service is a survey. It would be very beneficial. This would be discussed in the last board meeting about trying to encourage people to fill out the survey. It's pretty simple. It's rate your impressions 1 to 5 and any recommendations that you might have for upcoming services. I know that the perfect book is very January of 2026 now, but there are people who would be willing to give services if they had some idea besides perhaps their own. So if you can fill these out, I try to fill these out every Sunday. I don't write a whole lot. It's like, yes, I like the service. If there's something that you didn't like, write that down too. The people that are doing the services need feedback. Maybe they're thinking everything's fine, but you're thinking, well, maybe it ran a little slow, things like that. So if you could fill that out, that would be really good. Like I said, I try to do it every Sunday. I think it's important. That way, the members, the worship committee takes these and reviews those. The other thing for facilities and grounds is, I think this Monday will be the last day that the mowing service mows. The grass isn't growing very much, and I'm thinking probably early in November, have him come and do a final cleanup of the beds around the church and mulch. And the other thing that I was thinking about, and I talked with John Price about this a while back, is what I call the little meadow out front of the parking here. I know that past that John's mowed it kind of toward late fall. My understanding is there are some little saplings of one of the original oak trees that, and I just lost his name. Oh, Bob Jones, one of the founders of the church. There's an old stump out there. So before I have all that mowed, there's a couple other trees that have been planted. If you're interested in any of the oak saplings from that original tree, let me know. We'll be able to dig them up. And that's going to be probably in a couple of weeks or so. But I think we're done with the mowing. It's mowed a couple of weeks ago, and I really don't see where it's from much. I want my house to do. So that's it for me.
Yeah.
Morning, I'm Irene, and I just wanted to thank Ruby for holding a all-day movie night yesterday. It was a great time. I think most kids really enjoyed themselves and watching all the movies and having some pizza. So yes, thank you, Ruby. We look forward to more movies and do better. Thanks.
Anybody else?
I'm Jess. Two things. One, if you are concerned about upcoming November staff benefits, have food insecurity yourself, know somebody who does. Please talk to me. There's plenty of there's an agricultural program that farmers donate food to who pass through the Dutch County Food Bank, which is an extent of 20 minutes from here. So I can get you local services. And then also Chester County Food Bank in particular, because of in anticipation of SNAP benefits being canceled, they're looking for canned proteins like tuna or chicken and canned veggies and canned or basic, just the shelf stable stuff that you usually get. So if you want to get anything, you can get anything, then you can see me, I'll be going there anyway, probably once a week until the shutdown ends. And then my second announcement is next weekend, so next Saturday, November 1st, we're having a bonfire in our house. If it's not unsafe to have a bonfire, which I think we're okay, but it's like, whatever. I don't think it's as dry as it was last year. We're 1021 Schoolhouse Road. You could just go down to Showing left on Schoolhouse, can't miss our mailbox. Everybody's invited, it starts at 2. So I just wanna, we've lived there a year, we've been here a year, we got married a year ago, and we still have had nobody at our house, and our friends are getting pretty grumpy about that, so we're throwing a party and everyone.
And what day and time again?
The Saturday, November 1st, it starts at 2, goes to whatever.
Fun.
Somebody calls the cops on this, yeah.
Okay, I have 2 announcements. So next week, Kate sent out a email to everybody about our special congregational meeting, which will be held after service next Sunday. And we're gonna be voting for treasurer. Did anyone not talk to me about their interest in doing treasurer? Speak your piece now. Okay. So Irene volunteered to do treasurer, so we will be voting her in. I'll send out an email tomorrow about Irene's background so that we'll have a little bit of that. And then we will, if you're not able to attend, please send me an email or text, or if you can just tell me after service today, yes, no, or you want to abstain, and then I'll record that. And then after Sunday service, once we have all the votes, we'll tally it up and hopefully she'll be our treasurer if we need somebody. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, cool. The other thing is we will have our first safety committee meeting before Sunday service at 9:30 on the 16th of November. So a couple of people absolutely wanted to do that. They're going to be before service. So if anyone's interested in that, I'm going to bring bagels. So I'll entice you with food. So please come and help out, and that'll be November 16th. All right. So our opening words. The following opening words are adapted from William F. Schultz. Come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of empathy and compassion and let its vision change your heart. And we're going to do the chalice lighting. Before we do that, I just want to remind everybody to turn off your phones and put them into worship mode. And can I get a volunteer to light the chalice? The following words for our chalice lighting are adapted from Albert Philander, Leslie Cosvow, and Florence Captow. We hallow this time together by kindling the lamp of our heritage, flame of fire, spark of the universe that warmed our ancestral heart, agent of life and death, symbol of truth and freedom. We strive to understand ourselves and our earthly home. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us. And now we'll be singing our first hymn, which is 123, Spirit of Life. So now it's time for our offering. Giving is not about duty, giving is not about duty, it is an invitation to invest in the life of this community. To nurture its spirit and to carry its mission forward. We now receive the morning offering with open hands and open hearts. And while that's going around, I wanted to share a little bit about my own personal spiritual practice around this time of year. Has anyone seen the movie Coco? Where they have an ofrenda? So I am pagan, and something that I do in my house is we have the shelf in our living room, which has an ofrenda every year, all year long. But this time of year, it's very special, so we make it more robust. So I have pictures of my grandparents and some of my friends who have passed away, some of our pets who have passed away. And this time of year, I clean it up really good, and then I put out special things that remind me of those people. I do a deck of cards, I do a cup of tea, I do an apple, because my grandfather was a farmer and he was a produce manager of a big grocery store chain for a while. So just different things like that. And the thing that I really like about that practice is that you don't have to be religious to do that at all, because we all have ancestors, we all have people that we've come from. So there's many, many different religions that have an ancestral practice, and you can incorporate that into your life in a really simple way. So I hope you do that. Okay. Now I'd like to invite Diane up, and she's going to lead us in our Samhain circle today. Oh, okay, sorry. We're gonna sing the kids off to class. Oh. Change it up. Sorry, they have to practice. They have to start Thanksgiving thing, so. We don't do the.
Before we do the responsive reading, want to explain what we're going to do today. So today is about honoring this fellowship, this building, the people who built it, people who care for it, people who care for us. It's a way of honoring our ancestors. So when the choir sings the song that they're going to sing, I want you to listen to the words, even maybe read the words. It's hymn number 1 in the Great Hymnal. So read along, sing along if you want to. That's perfectly okay. And think about it. This is the intention. This is the prayer that we're making today. Then when we do the meditation on breathing, which y'all should know by now, it's breathe in. When I breathe in peace. And when I breathe out love. I want you to literally do that. Breathe in the peace that this place and these people provide to you and gift to you, and that you feel when you're here. When you breathe out, can you breathe out love? I want you to literally fill this space with the energy of love from your heart. So you're not just singing, you are doing work. You're doing energetic work. You're going to pour out the love through your voice to fill this whole room, to fill this whole building. Bless this building and bless the land that it sits on. So that's what we're doing today. You're doing magic. I believe in magic. I wish. It's my job to believe in it. But I want you to suspend your disbelief for the period of time it takes to do the working today. Believe in peace, believe in love, believe in those things existing in this place. Okay? So we're going to do a responsive reading, and then it's story time. And I'm armed. So let's do the responsive reading, and then we will begin our story time. Think of stories that you have. Think of ways that this building and these people have impacted you in a positive way. You're ready to talk about that. responsive reading, which it was kind enough, Emily was kind enough to put into the order of service. And it's big enough that I can read it, haha, that's wonderful. This house is for ingathering of nature and human nature. It is a house of friendships and haven in trouble, and open rail for the encouragement of our road. It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person. It offers a platform for free freedom, for declare and people in times of security and danger, full and undivided on its own opinion. It is a house of truth seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers. It is a house of art, and learning and celebrations with melodies and handiwork. It is a house of prophecy, of outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and of progress. This is the house of the grateful for our dreams, the workshops of our common together. All right, so it's time for you to tell stories. I will walk this over to whoever puts their hand up first, and then they will walk it to the next person, so we will pass it around until you're all out of their stories. So, they're here to CJ. Thank you, CJ.
I know those of you who have been around for a while know this, but there may be some newer people who do not know this. That this fellowship was built, physically, the building, by the congregation. It was not paid for and somebody else did it. It was Bob Jones organizing the congregation and having them come out and put up the roof and put up the walls and do the flooring and do, he literally had the congregation build this building. And so I just was always beholden, I'm honored to be a part of this congregation where the people made it themselves. And every time I look at that beautiful stained glass over there, I just remember all of the people who actually physically built this building. Who's next?
I'll take it. Like, somebody's gonna have to help me share. I'm just gonna add what CJ said, because I've been around here for a while. This phenomenal window, and I always love sitting on this side, so I can go over and see it, was actually commissioned by one of the founding people of our fellowship, and it was his daughter that came up with this design. It went back and forth. She made it in California, shipped it out here, and it was installed. So this window still is part of our foundation. So just the magnificent.
I'm sorry, I'm already crying. My stepson and I stopped by the garden the other night, because I wanted to show it off to him, because I'm really proud of it. And he's like, did you really find a church that's shaped like a barn 5 minutes from your house? It had a nature trip. He's like, did they just build it for you? And I'm like, no kidding. But we were just so grateful to find something that fits. I was really like taking like my spiritual journey pretty seriously, and I just think it's funny. I bought a house. We bought a house 5 minutes from here, so I'm just so grateful every day. I cry most services, so just get used to it. Thank you.
Okay.
Cole wants to say, one of the things we're gonna have the kids do is say like who their trusted adults were in the fellowship, so Cole practiced his people and he would like to sing along.
Andy's not here, but
Let's see.
Okay.
They're red shoe bugs.
Yeah.
Mr. Steve
Mr. Steve,
and Sam
Mr. Sam.
and Miss Ivy.
I wanted to just say, I started coming here before COVID, like randomly. I lived out in Pennsburg, so it was a little bit hard for me to get here, but I came, I think in 2021 was when I started coming more often. And I've just always felt really welcome here, and it's just like you were saying, Jess, like it just feels like home to me. Like when you're here, it was just like, oh, like I had no idea what Unitarian Universalism was, and it was just like when I found this place and these people, I was just like, oh, this is like for me. So I just really am glad that I get to be here, and I'm just really, really happy. So thank you guys. You can share about other stuff too if you want to, about ancestors or anything like that.
I'm gonna say, over the last couple of years, the coven has been blessed to be able to celebrate, a lot of our holidays here, either in this room or in the side yard. And it is a beautiful place that I have never anything but incredibly proud for my tradition family to see and to experience, because it's a beautiful place. And I brag on y'all all the time, because you are amazing people. I'm gonna mention a couple of things that, while I did not necessarily attend them, I know that they impacted people in a very positive way. Chef Cliff's classes and the delicious things that y'all made during those. The super fancy dinner that Cliff and Eric hosted and made, that y'all came to and enjoyed. There are things that happen here that not everybody participates in, but it's still a place to come and be with your own people. Holly's started doing a yoga class every other Tuesday for a little while. Never went to a yoga class before. It was amazing. 7 of us have been participating, and I encourage you to consider coming out for that, because it's an hour and a half of just you time. This is a beautiful place, and you are all beautiful people. I asked the choir, which hasn't sung in a while together, to sing today, Statement of Intent, because I miss being in choir. I miss singing with them, and the song is a beautiful song that talks about what we're about today. So thank you, Kay and Lori and CJ and Emily and Rob and Sarah, for being willing to get that going again and sing together, because I really miss that, because that's a huge part. And I know that Kate won't take offense to this. I miss Carly.
Oh, why do you do?
I know you do. So I would like us to think about Carly a little today and send her some love. Because she was a foundational support to people in this congregation in the beauty of her art. And I want to say thank you to Teva. Beta. Or Beta. Why did I think Teva? I don't know. My brain's a little bit, I'm 60. To Teva for playing the bass for us today. Does anybody else have something they want to share? And please don't be shy. We would really like to appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll be great. I'm Laurie. I'll just say, we first came here when my daughter was 5 and she just turned 34.
Oh.
So it's been a while. And some of my fondest memories are, I got to sing a duet with Bob Jones once.
Oh.
And he gave me the nicest compliment. He said that I was the first person he had ever had such good eye contact with. And that was such a nice compliment to me. And that's just an example of how this has been a source of community in our family for so many years. And especially the choir, because you know that connection when you're singing with people is sort of unique and irreplaceable. And we've made some beautiful music.
Yeah.
And also, I remember one of their fond memories is how the people here, especially the founding members, used to always put skits on all the time. They were really amazing skits that were, representative of beliefs or thought-provoking type things. And the kids, we used to do it with the kids too, have the kids put on plays. So that's a really fond memory here, just that liveliness and, exploring things, which makes this place so unique.
Just real quick, speaking of skits, the very first time I came to this fellowship, was Christmas Eve. And I came, and of course, they didn't have a normal worship. They had a skit, a little play that they did. It was called, Bob Jones called them Not Ready for Prime Time. And they were just so enthusiastic. And when Bob Jones passed away, Peggy, his wife, gave me all of the cassette videotapes of all of the plays that they had put on. And I confess, I did not listen to them all, but I did listen to some of them, and they were just having such a ball. I would love to see us try to do something like that.
Maybe one would be nice.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I don't even have a tape player anymore, a cassette tape player to play them. They weren't video, they were just the audio. They didn't have video.
Yeah.
CJ. Monica, I think I heard you say that we could talk about our ancestors. So I'm gonna change. My Aunt Alice was a big tea drinker. She died 2 years ago at the age of 95. She never married, never learned how to drive. She was chair of the English department at Summit High School. And one of the many things that I love about Aunt Alice is that, she and my mom were sisters. There were 6 kids in that family, and most of the siblings had 6 kids. So 4 to 6 Catholics, right? Okay. So anyway, Aunt Alice really encouraged us all to read. She would give every single one of those 19 cousins of mine, some of whom are assholes. I can tell you about them some other time, but the ones in Phoenix. Yeah, anyway, she gave each of us a hardback book for Christmas from the time we were little. And then as we got married, she gave our spouses hardcover books. But she was, and she traveled to all 7 continents. She just was amazing. And, you could talk to her about anything. She was very gentle and mild, but she also stood up for herself. And I gave a eulogy at her funeral. Church was packed. And I said that if everybody in the world had an Aunt Alice, it would be a very different place.
Wow.
But I said you're good. Oh.
We moved to Chester County in 2022 and we needed a little more space. The family was growing. And we were excited to get out of the city a little bit, to have a little more space. And it was so lonely. It's been so depressing. It's hard for me to go back because when I go back to where my office was, I had an office of like 150 people. I worked there for 17 years. And when I had my wedding shower, the entire office came. The entire office came. When I had my baby shower, the entire office came. And then COVID happened. We never went back. I had 2 members of my family come to my wedding. 2, that's it. Michigan's too far. Shows you where people's priorities are, I guess. But my team was my office, and then I lost it all in COVID. And then we moved here. And you saw a couple of you came to my Christmas party, and I was surrounded by the people I love, but they're all very far away. And our neighbors hate us. Well, maybe they don't hate us, But then I got to my Priestess party. I was like, oh, it's so nice that our neighbors from across the street came, and Cindy was like, yeah, Sybil was yelling, running down the street off the bus, and the girl across the street looked at her and goes, yeah, that's why we're not allowed to have play dates with you. And, it got so awkward texting the mom of the street, who's my daughter's best friend, because I would ask for a play date and I felt like I just can't even text anymore. It's horrible. I mean, I feel so rude. Like, I feel like she's making up reasons for like my kids not to play with her. And I don't know what we would have done if we didn't find this place, because we can't move. Like, interest rates are too high. I've tried. We now have too much stuff too, because we have to fill up this giant house. We went from like a condo with 3 bedrooms to a much bigger house. And I'm just so grateful because we were talking about it yesterday, and we had a social event, and both of our kids were going home with families that we met at the UU. And honestly, like, I lost my office. We moved out here. It's been horrible. And I never want to say it because I don't want to be such a downer. But this is the place that's given me solace. And I hope that, we can, and it's hard because like we're busy, and it's like, at least in the office, it was a place you went every day, and you kind of were that you had to be there. But I'm just so grateful to the relationships, both, for the family, and the kids say that these are their best friends. They're the kids here that they're fine with their friends in school, but they see these are the friends that they really resonate with. And so I feel really grateful. I just feel super, super grateful for this fellowship, because otherwise I would be very lonely. And I swear my kids aren't terrible, they're just maybe a little loud. Yeah, I didn't know it's not something. Okay, Sybil's loud and Steve's loud.
Your kids are always lovely in class.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's just a difference, like, we let our kids climb on the rocks outside, and those kids are not allowed to climb on the rocks outside.
And they climb rocks here.
Yeah, and so I guess it's sort of the difference of parents inside.
So my name is Sunil. I think what Sarah said prompted this sharing. We found UU when we were back in Tennessee. About 4 years ago, we moved back here now. My wife is around here. She's on the way back late. 4 years we've been here, but even in Tennessee, we thought we had a lot of friends. And then my wife got really sick. And then we lost all of them. But it's only the UU friends we found in Tennessee, they're still friends. And the same thing happened here. We moved here 4 years. She is very outgoing, lots of friends, but the only girl she really connected with was her daughter. And it was through them that we found this place. And I can tell people are different, states are different, but the UU vibe is still the same. So we feel very grateful that we found it. And I'm sure she's really happy that she found her best friend here. And same way, I think yours is the only place who's as open to come anytime, sleepovers. So this is the only girl that they have had constant sleepovers. Everybody else just, it's different. Thank you.
Oh, Jamie, nice meeting
My name is Sunil.
We lived here in 2021, and in 2022, I got really, really sick. And we did, I had to drop hospital and a whole lot of stuff, but it's been really nice to have people where we can come. You guys are all so really cool. We were talking about the other day. This is such a laid back and comforting and accepting crowd. So thank you for that, everybody.
Hi, I'm John. Premature Diane. Maybe she doesn't want me to talk too much. Not sure which. So
A couple of thoughts. There was a weekend when we didn't have a service here. I can't remember which holiday it was Memorial Day or Labor Day, but it was weekend. So I went back to the first UU, or it's now called UU of Berks County, where I had went from whence CJ and I had come many years ago. And I enjoyed seeing the people there that I had seen 17 years earlier, but it was a bit too formal, which I think is typical of large UU congregations. There was a lot of formality, and they had a fellow in the back that I knew whose only job was to be the interface with people who are online. He had 8 or 9 people who was juggling while he was sitting in the back with a little computer in front of him, and they had someone else behind there with the soundboard that we have a version of here, but we just let it do its own thing, leave it alone. So it was, I was wondering how I would feel going back to the larger congregation, and it was very warm in terms of people I knew, but it was a very large sanctuary, which they'll never fill again because it's just a difference of time frame from when it was a Universalist church many years ago. Here we are right sized. I think we have what we want. We would like to grow. I'm sure the treasurer would say growth is always a good thing because it helps us financially to do more and more community service. So that's part one. Part two is those of you who know your heritage are blessed. I unfortunately know all too little about my family, and I find out little niblets of good and bad things over the course of time. So for example, I believe my father's parents came from Vilnius, Lithuania. Not 100% sure. And I can't find them in a data bank anyplace, so I can't find our family name in the Polish data bank, the Ukrainian, Belarus, Lithuanian, whatever. So my father's parents are kind of mysterious. I don't know where they met. I don't know where they got married. If they got married abroad or got married in the US. I know where they're buried. I know that my father's mother passed away of a surgical mishap. It was never talked about what the surgical mishap was. A cousin of mine has done a little digging. It turns out that she may have had a 4th pregnancy for which her body was not fit, and she may have had a backstreet abortion and died of sepsis. But again, that's kind of one of those family mysteries about which I know very little. So there's a great deal I don't know about with regard to my father's parents, both of whom predeceased my time by a fair bit. My mother's parents came from a certain, I think it was Kaliningrad, perhaps in Latvia, one country up from where the other part of the family came from. But again, I can't find that name in a data bank either. So there's a great deal I don't know about that part of the family. So all of you who have the blessing of knowing your roots, I know that Erica Dusky has done a fair bit of research and has gone way back with her family. So for those of you who know your family genealogy, you're blessed. If you don't know about it, please check on it. Even the ancestry has not been much help to me in terms of tracking down my heritage. And so I feel kind of like a tree that doesn't have its full roots. And that's probably a loss I will not recover. But hopefully going forward, we'll know more about the generations to come.
I'm Eric. I've been here less than a year, but everyone's been so welcoming. What I noticed when we get back to the building, it's the original topic. Is I come from Sacramento, California. My father designed the Unitarian Church there before I was born. But by the time I was born, we had a sanctuary similar in size to this. And being an architect was a little fancier. However, the feeling that you get because it was built by the congregation is entirely different. I've been into a couple other services here in Florida, different places, and you don't get that. The spirituality of this building is fantastic because it was built by not necessarily us or me, obviously, but by some of your people. And it lives in spirit here, and I think that's fantastic. And I get my father with me every Sunday when I come and get to be with you guys, so that's wonderful. And John, I'm with you, I have no idea where I come from either, so that's okay, because we're right here in family. It's okay.
Very quickly, because even though I love to talk, as you guys know, it's a superpower of mine, but this kind of is speechless because this place is just very meaningful to me. So I like to refer to it as the magic of UUFP. So I've been following this place online for the longest of times. And I've never really had the courage to come in. So I watched services, I've seen anything from My Little Pony services that Emily did around the house, right? To more meaningful services throughout the years. And I finally had the courage to come in here last fall. And some of the connections that just came from here, and I believe in the spirituality of buildings, back to your prior service here when you did animism. I think the energy here is just phenomenal. For instance, Valerie, okay? How do you explain this? I come here, to this congregation, Valerie looks very familiar. I look a little bit more, we become friends on social media, look a little bit more into it. She and I went to high school together in Center City, Philadelphia, okay? In Center City, Philadelphia.
1 year.
It doesn't matter. Why
That's what I'm saying, like, the fact that I was only in high school for 1 year.
Right.
And then we would be here together.
Exactly. We are here together over an hour away, an hour and a half away, right? And we meet here. And she felt so familiar, and we did not miss a beat, right? My husband Rob and I always said, like, we just love her. So we started talking to her. And we're like, there's something so familiar about Valerie. And lo and behold, I texted her around Thanksgiving last year and said, I think we went to high school together. And I mean, amazing. Also, I met Chattanooga Steve, and I found out about Steve's Academy from this place. And now both of my children go to their school, and they're just such an amazing family. Our kids spent a lot of time together, and we're friends. They've been invited to our parties, and their school has just been such a blessing for my family. And again, I found it through UUFP. So when you guys, and again, we just had sleepover with Miss Sarah's daughter, and the community that we've built here is unheard of. As an interfaith minister, I have served in some congregations of different denominations, right? Not just Christian. And this family atmosphere is something that is not easily found. I've lived in other states, it just does not happen. So we are very, very fortunate to be here today. So when you guys ask, why does there be that so much here? Yes, Judy, because my middle name is enthusiasm. Okay, I love that. I actually don't have a middle name, so I'll take that. I love it. But also because I just love you guys so much. I love what this stands for, and I want to contribute. I can, and I'm willing. And every time I do something here, it just provides so much meaning for me. So thank you guys for being here for my family. I've been here through a lot of Ukrainian issues, obviously what's going on, and I've had so much support from all of you. And again, I'm very, very grateful.
Sorry, one more thing. The friendship, I've met so many people who are my friends now, and I know all of you, but it extends further. I think you all know I have a fair amount of international friends, and Hungarian friends have come over this past summer. 13-year-old boy from Hungary, he considers me a grandma, and that's really nice. I didn't have children, so I have a grandson. And his English is excellent, but he's shy about it. And so just about everybody, Lori and Irene and Sarah, all volunteered to have Basil. His name is Basil, which is Hungarian for Basil. It's a very old-fashioned name there. And he was so nervous about his English ability, and really it's excellent. That he decided, and Justine and Chad also volunteered. And I talked to him about that because his sister had been here 2 years before. Isn't as open and really wanted nothing to do with other kids, spent most of the time online with her friends 6 hours ahead of time, So he decided that he wanted to meet Henry. And we didn't actually, because of vacations and all sorts of stuff, meet till pretty much the last week. And when those two met and we drove out to their house, it was like when you see two dogs or cats looking at each other,
Those days.
within 30 seconds, they are now best friends and they talk regularly, you know, through WhatsApp out there. And but everyone here volunteered to try to help me here, and even Kim too, with the, he wanted a boy. You know how teenage kids are. And I think about this, we're all so tolerant, we all help each other. My father lost his father when he was 14 months old. And so my grandmother had two children, he had a 2-year-old sister, 2 years older. Out in a little coal town in western Pennsylvania. And my grandfather had been a Presbyterian minister to make ends meet, he had 3 different churches. And my grandmother was progressive enough that wanted to have a male figure in his life, just to, yeah, he was just surrounded by women. And she decided, because there was a Father Jerome from the local Catholic church who wanted to take my father along with other boys to teach them how to hunt and to fish and to build dams and creeks and find arrowheads. And my grandmother was so happy. And her congregation and the church where her husband had been in her little town shunned her for a while because she went outside the Presbyterian faith. And she just wanted a male, and Father Jerome was just a phenomenal person. And I think that spirit of liberalness infected us all. So it's just, this is a phenomenal place. And if you treat me as a friend, but you take in my family and you take in my friends and you make everybody feel good. So thank you.
You start out slow and then you really get going. I appreciate that about you. I really do. So thank you for sharing the stories. And so at this point, we are going to start the working. The choir is going to sing our statement of intent, which is hymn number 1 in the Gray hymnal, May Nothing Evil Cross this Door. Follow along. If you want to sing along, you certainly can. I asked the choir to do it because it's a tough, it's not a tough song, but it's got a lot going on, and they do it so beautifully. And then after we're done with that, then we're going to start the meditation on breathing, which you all should know because I have you sing it every time I'm up here. So I'm going to turn this thing off. Now it's your turn. Meditation on breathing is simple, but there are 3 parts that you can choose, and you can bounce around between them if you like. So Rob is going to start us out with the first part. And then we're going to join in and you'll hear it. And then eventually Kay and probably Valerie are going to sing a descant, which if you like, you can join them. And you're gonna keep singing until I raise my arm, and then you're gonna finish the song. The verse, and then we'll all finish together, okay? And whatever makes you happy, whatever you're most comfortable with, honestly. And Bennett is going to join us, Beta is going to join us on her bass, because we're a little weak on bass. All right. Okay. Maybe they were a little timid. You still did a good job, so thank you. We're gonna give ourselves just a moment or two to reflect on everything that Diane said and done. And now comes the time in the extinguished chalice. And since we already sang Go Now in Peace, we don't need to sing that unless you all want to. So. All right. That's pretty easy.
I'm giving you the.
I was trying to amplify it.
I think you get it. Okay. Extinguish the work. The extinguishes this way, but not on the way, this is community, with fire, commitment. Easy, carried in our hearts, and in our hands, until we are united in that. Beloved be. Blessed be. Namaste. Y'all are free to go get coffee. Thank you very much. I'll put these, I'll put the back.